More dope upgrades.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com. We're back taking another look at Liber Daemonica's upgrade bits for Space Marines. They sent us a ton, a big box. I don't even know where it is. But we showed you last time just upgrade heads, and I didn't know what they were all for. They all look dope, and I was like, this is cool, and this one's cool, and this one's cool. But since then, they've really upped their game. They have all sorts of bits on their site, from weapons to shields, like if you want to do full-on Spartan / Minotaurs. We got some of those that we're going to check out. Shoulder pads, weapons, heads. I said at least two of those twice already. But they also have guns, like weapons, not just close combat weapons. So there's tons of stuff over there. You can really dial it in and customize how you want your Marines to look. And in straight castable resin, stuff looks great. Can't say enough good things about it. Let me show you over on the site and we'll talk some pricing. So it's LiberDaemonica.com. I've showed you this a couple of times now. You just go to the shop right up here. It's already shaded, so you get into where you can actually buy stuff. It's not the most robust website, but sometimes those are the better ones because they're functional and they work and they're easy to upkeep and maintain. Trust me, I do a little web stuff here and there. Everything's across the top here, all the descriptions. You can see space elements, shoulder pads, weapons, and shields. That's mostly where we're going to be looking at. But they have lots of other stuff like accessories. They got stuff like banners and things. I think they actually sent us one of these. I might dig it out real quick and show it to you. It's just slotted together really good. It's one of these skin banners here, which was really interesting. What is it? 4 of those is $6.95. So enough for an army. For $6.95 seems pretty reasonable. Let's take a look at the space helmets. I showed you a bunch of these before. It's $8 for 5 helmets. Less than $2 each. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. You do have to wait to get them from Russia. It's a little bit of shipping. Not too bad. I don't feel like that's unreasonable at all. Shoulder pads wise, they're going to be $10 because you get a set of 10, so enough for 5 Marines basically, with the normal kind of like a symbol or like a design on one side and like an open air side on the other. And I really like what they do as far as it's not too busy as far as like detail goes. There's plenty of room to actually paint stuff on there, but it's got enough crisp detail that you don't have to worry about, oh well, hey, it looks kind of crappy. There's so many different sets in here. I don't even know what they all are. I'm going to show you a couple of my favorites that I was able to piece together and kind of get like a theme kind of look that I think is really cool. And you can definitely dig through here. And just because something says, hey, this might be, for Dark Angels, or hey, this might be like, some chaos, don't think that you can't use it any way you want. Like vote with your hobby dollars. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Make what you want. That's the name of the game. And then if you're looking to upgrade your Blade Guard or your Terminators, or maybe you got some Death Watch Vanguard veterans, just somebody needs storm shields or some sort of shields, they got a lot of that in here too. They even have some stuff on pre-order. And then of course they've got the weapons, like the spear I've got to show you today, and they had some more pointier ones in here somewhere, like some traditional type spears. I don't see them, but a set of weapons in here, $9.95. About $2 each. Not necessarily with the chain swords, but some of the bigger, bulkier stuff. I feel like it's pretty reasonable as well. Shields are a little bit more because they're a lot chunkier kind of bits of resin, which I kind of get. So this is up getting close to $15. Again, like a little bit more than $2 each. Not too bad, to be quite honest. In my mind, for cast resin miniatures, I've got some of these shields here to show you, so you can kind of do like a 300 type look. Spartans or Minotaurs, whatever you want to do. Oh, here they are, the Taurus spears. These things are really cool. We got some of those to show you today too. So let me just stop talking and actually show you kind of like a theme set of bits I put together, and then show you what they actually look like on Marines. This is basically a little themed upgrade set I put together. Now, there's normally an extra head, normally an extra weapon set, normally extra 2 pads, but I put one of the guys together already, and I'll show you that here in a second. So the pads are $10, the heads are $8, and then these swords I think were $8.95, I want to say. So you're looking at less than $30, roughly, right close to $30 to kind of customize 5 Space Marines however you want. You figure 5 Primaris Space Marines I guess are $30 or $35 depending on how you get them from Games Workshop. It is close to double, a little bit off to make them look just the way you want them, which when you start pricing it to Forge World stuff, it really starts to get pricey. So for this, I feel like is pretty reasonable. When you talk about prices in the hobby, every hobby is expensive. Every hobby has its price point. Some things are more expensive than others, but I feel like these, really aren't. And as far as detail goes, I mean, they are super crisp. You can see here in the light a little bit better. Nice and cast. Now I showed you on the last video with the Redemptor, like if you want to cut these little tabs off, it's really easy to do. All you got to do is not let your cats attack your thumbs. As you might have seen, my thumb is pretty tore up right now. But what can you do? Just take a little blue tack here, a fun tack, and then what you want to do is get in here and clip the spot where it interfaces so you can clean it up with your knife, and then that way it doesn't shred off the corner of your pad and put a little divot in there. So if you're like, how do I approach this? I don't know what to do. Well, try this. It's a nice little hobby hack that I've been using for a few years myself that I think is pretty useful. And then of course you've got the heads here, and by now you know probably what these guys are supposed to be. But what's cool about their helmets is you can kind of use them as 2 different types of different things, like some Loyalists and some Renegades. No, that's not a Dark Angels joke. What I meant was that these could be Black Templars or potentially Dark Angels as well. And then even with the swords, which come, I think these were all right-handed, which is the correct hand for Assault Intercessors. This is a left hand, this is a right hand, so it's a mixed hand set. Looks like 3 right hands, and the other one looks to be a right hand as well. So you get 1, the offhand, and 3 of the same hand, at least in this set for Assault Intercessors. And then here is the guy built with one of the shoulder pads. You unfortunately have to clip the plastic of the Primaris guy right here off, but it's not that big of a deal. I used a little blue tack to kind of get the pose down before I actually glued it. And then they have bolt pistols as well, which I didn't see on their website. And I just slapped this one on here just to give it a little bit more of a dynamic look. So that really doesn't count that like kind of $30 upgrade price, but you could get one of the packs of these pistols, which I think came with 10 of them, and kind of spread them across your unit for the more dynamic guys like this one right here, I feel like. But I mean, it's nice and crisp, and of course the resin is very well done. Like I don't feel like you'd have to wash it, although I do like to wash all my resin before I prime it. But I feel like you could just spray, glue it down and give it a nice coat of primer right there. So this is kind of your Templar, or you could use these as kind of like a Horus Heresy era Dark Angels as well, or maybe like more of a Knights of Caliban type feel if you really wanted to. And then they had some bits I picked out. I don't know exactly which ones they were. I just kind of thumbed through everything, and I was like, oh, these are cool. This is, we could make a White Scars guy, and here he is. So great looking set of shoulder pads right there. Again, I just kind of blue tacked them down with a really cool little bolter right there and some sort of weapon. I think it's got some symbols on there. I'm not exactly sure what language that might be, but maybe it's hieroglyphics or something. I don't know. But either way, it definitely looked very White Scar-y, so I went with that. And then that shoulder pad right there. I think you get a bunch of those in the set, and then the off or the more other, or maybe it's supposed to be vice versa. I don't know. But either way, I put them on here, and it looks pretty dope. And then you got that guy, that head right there. And then this is more of a kind of a, I guess more of a fist. I would go Imperial Fist, or you can use Crimson Fist, I suppose. Kind of upgrade set right here, and it's in addition to like some Thunder Hammers and some other large smashy weapons, they have this guy nicknamed Mr. Fister. I'll let you figure out why. But yeah, this shoulder pad's pretty dope. This head definitely super fresh, looking good right there. And then this guy obviously is probably a Dark Angel. Nice little keeper kind of pad set there, and a nice feathery plume. There's 2 of those in the set. One is out like that, and one is kind of like a mohawk configuration, which I thought was neat. Broken sword motif, and then this ginormous, I guess you could use that as a Rosarius or some sort of mace, or not a Rosarius, a Crozius Arcanum. Very, very cool and very, very beefy. And last but certainly not least is this guy right here. Prepare for glory. I love this. I love this big shield, and it goes on perfectly, scaled up with Primaris, and then that one spear I showed you. But this is sort of a blade. I forget what it's called. And then there's a spear as well that I don't know where I put it, but I thought I left it out. I guess I did. It looks just as good here, so you could do some really cool stuff with that. And of course, got some Spartan or Minotaurs, Greco-Roman kind of feel, of course, on all of this. So these were a little bit more. I think these were upwards of $15 for the set of those. So that might be a little bit more pricey, but when you absolutely have to slay the enemies of the Emperor in true first century fashion, or first millennium fashion, I don't know what it would be in the grimdark, looking back to today or looking back to the time of the Spartans, but yeah, you want this guy, and you want these bits right here. So that, wait, there's more. I did want to show you the painted guys. Let's talk about those for a second. So this should give you more of an idea of what you can do with these upgrade kits all painted up. They sent us some of their painted miniatures, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So these guys look dope. Obviously some iron hands with some really cool bionics all over the place. These guys look good because they're more kind of open, and they have the pads as well as the heads. I don't think they had the upgrade bits at this time. And then this set of Minotaurs right here look pretty fresh, but really all these are is head swaps. Like, literally, take a closer look at them. All they are is head swaps, and it changes the dynamic of the whole miniature, the whole composition of the model so dramatically, especially with when you match the basing and stuff. It's really. So on that note, here are just some quickie shoulder pad swaps. Now these are probably a Death Watch style swap with just the normal Primaris, no head swap. And here are some pads that I found for white consoles, or I guess Raptors. I think either one of those. I don't know. And this one was cool because it's like Born to Kill. And got the playing card right there. Maybe I'm showing my age. I don't know, maybe I'm not, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So that kind of gives you an idea of just what some quickie pad swaps or some quickie head swaps can do. And then we'll take a look at the guys they painted. Now look at these. Now, of course, they're very well painted, and gold is always a tricky color to do. But all of that aside, just one simple head swap with a nicely done paint job really does wonders, right? And then here are some of the other ones. Just a very cool, quick head swap. Very cool stuff. And then a sergeant with a combat rifle or combat knife, and this guy right here definitely pops. And then the guys that look a little bit more dynamic, mostly because they are assault intercessors, are these right here. So shoulder pad swaps and head swaps definitely go a long ways. They've got the extra weapons. Now these are painted a little bit better than the other ones, even though gold, like I said, is a little bit harder to shade. But these definitely pop with some of those heads and everything, and all the dynamic posing of the assault intercessors themselves. And you can definitely kind of keep in mind too, like, hey, these were multi-part kits, right? So you were able to do a little bit more, whereas these were kind of the mono-pose kits, so all you were able to swap out was the heads. So basically, they have everything covered except for a little bit of icons to actually slap on there for the ETB kits. So the more flexibility you have in your miniature, the more customizable you can make with all their bits, which I think is pretty neat. And they obviously have a world-class painting studio and been operating that for a number of years. This might be why you've heard of Liber Daemonica even before they started making upgrade bits. So now, and only now, is the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to hit up Liber Daemonica for all your bits, and possibly commission painting needs as well. They do a really great job, as you can see by these gorgeous miniatures. But before you go there, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.